Allah kala shay. It's like nothing. So the one who is mu'ti al-ilm ahaqqu bihi, the one who gave the creation knowledge, is more rightful to possess it. Is more rightful to possess it. The one who bestowed the creation with strength, la hawla wa la quwwata illa bihi. There is no might or no power except by him and through him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And some of the disbelievers, they said, من أشد منا قوة أولم يروا أن الله الذي خلقهم هو أشد منهم قوة. One of the disbelieving nations, they said, who is more severe than us in strength? Sounds like the disbelievers at all times. Who is more severe than us in strength? As Allah said in another verse, سَيُحْزَمُ الْجَمْعُ وَيُوَلُّونَ الدُّبُرِ. And all of them will be defeated and they will turn their backs and flee from Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. He said, who is more severe than us in power? Don't they see that Allah who created them is more severe than them in power? If you were to gather all the power of the creation from the first of them to the last of them, and in your mind make them all that powerful, so on and so forth, imagine the highest level of power for the creation. There's nothing kana shay connected to that, and in relation to the power of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. On the day of judgment, Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, He will grab the heavens with His right hand and the earth with His other hand. The Prophet said, then He will shake them. And He will shake them. And He will say, أنا الملك أنا الديان أين الجبارون أين المتكبرون. I am the king, I am the judge. Where are the tyrants, where are the arrogant ones now? Are you going to run? Are you going to flee from? Are you going to hide from Allah? And so any quality of perfection, any perfect quality that can exist in any level with the creation, and then it exists as epitome beyond what you can imagine with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is called al-qiyas al-awwali, or qiyas al-awla wal-ahra, al-mathal al-a'la. And so from this is that when you see the greatness of the creation, you see the greatness of the earth, the enormity, the greatness of the earth, the greatness of the mountains, then you know that the one who created them is even greater. And this is the reality of the statement, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar min kulli kabir. Wa kibriya kulli kabir tadmahil inda kibriyaihi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is greater than anything that people think to be great. That statement, Allahu Akbar, is the basis of the whole religion. The details of the statement Allahu Akbar is the entirety of Islam. Everything in Islam, everything that we believe, everything that we do, all the orders of Allah, all the prohibitions of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, the details of the statement Allahu Akbar. When Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, He said in Ayatul Izn, the end, the last verse of Surah Al-Isra, when He said, وَقُلِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي لَمْ يَتَّخِذْ وَلَدًا وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ شَرِيكٌ فِي الْمُلْكِ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلِيٌّ مِّنَ الظِّلِّ وَكَبِّرْهُ تَكْبِيرًا. And say, Alhamdulillah, all praises to Allah, الَّذِي لَمْ يَتَّخِذْ وَلَدًا, who has not taken a son, has not taken offspring for Himself. He doesn't need the creation. He doesn't give another creature any a shared divinity along with Him, make Him a semi-god, a demigod, so on and so forth. Allah has not taken offspring for Himself. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ شَرِيكٌ فِي الْمُلْكِ, and He has not taken a partner in owning and administering the affairs of the universe with Him. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلِيٌّ مِّنَ الظِّلِّ, and He has not taken an ally because of dhil, because of weakness and lowliness. وَكَبِّرْهُ تَكْبِيرًا, and therefore كَبِّرْهُ تَكْبِيرًا, declare His greatness with a tremendous takbir. The Imam of the Mufassirin, after mentioning the statements of the Salaf, the Imam of the scholars of Tafsir Ibn Jarir al-Tabari, he said, أي عظمه يا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم تعظيما, and venerate Him and glorify Him, Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, بما أمرك أن تعظمه به من قول أو فعل. How do you glorify Him? With what He ordered you to glorify Him with, of statements or actions. How do you glorify Allah with that which Allah has not revealed any authority for? A person who glorifies Allah with that which Allah has revealed any authority for is mocking his Lord. is glorifying Allah with that which opposes what the Prophet ﷺ came with, and he is from the greatest of those who is mocking his Lord Tabarak wa Ta'ala. Glorify him with that which he has ordered you to glorify him with of statements and actions. وَأَطِعْهُ فِيمَا أَمَرَكَ بِهِ وَنَهَاكَ عَنْهُ. And كَبِّرْهُ تَكْبِيرًا, and declare his greatness with a true takbir, means obey him and that which he has ordered you to do, and that which he has ordered you to abstain from, that which he has forbidden you from. This is the takbir of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. And so this is something that is necessary for the people. Now when they see the greatness of the creation, that the greatness of the creation fills them with ta'azim of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. So the greatest things, min muharrikat al-qulub, the things that moves and motivates the heart. A person who looks at the signs of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala and the universe around him, and nothing moves in his chest. Let him ask Allah for his heart. Let him ask Allah for a heart, because he doesn't have a heart. If he looks at the heavens, if he looks at the skies above him, and their greatness and their vastness, and nothing moves in his heart concerning the greatness of his Lord Tabarak wa Ta'ala, let him ask Allah for a heart, because he doesn't have one. If he looks at the earth, and he looks at the mountains, and he looks at what Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has put in plain view for the creation, and he doesn't realize the greatness of his Lord Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and then his heart is dead. This is from the bab of al-Mathal al-A'la. To Allah belongs the highest similitude in the heavens and the earth. Whatever you can understand and realize about the greatness of the creation, or anything of goodness in the creation, so on and so forth, then Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala haqqu bihi. Allah is more deserving of it. Allah is more deserving of it. The scholars, they give an example of that. You say, for example, concerning the wisdom of Allah. If a person was to be, what do they call it, an apprentice. If a person was to be an apprentice to somebody, he has a mentor who's teaching him a skill, he's teaching him a trade. And he sees that his mentor always does what he does for a reason. He's a carpenter, right? We'll give you an example that's maybe a little closer to you, right? Your wives are good cooks, right? Our wives are good cooks. We see that in our stomachs, right? You see that we're getting a little bigger than we should be. Our wives are good cooks. Sometimes you're in the kitchen and what happens? Hey, what you just put in there? What you just put in that pot? Right? You have no clue, like, what was that? Just threw some type of vegetable or fruit or something strange in the pot. Right? You've been eating that for 10, 20 years. You never had a clue that she was throwing that in the pot. Right? But you say, she has a reason for that. There's a reason she did that, that contributes to the, to my fatness and to my enjoyment when I eat. Right? That contributes to the flavor of the food. A person, they have a mentor, they're learning a skill from somebody. Every day, they go in, the person is teaching them to do something, and everything that they do, they understand there's a reason for. Okay, I understand why you did this, I understand why you did this, I understand why you did this. But then what? One day they do something, Shahada. You know he's a person with integrity, you know he's a person with intelligence, you know he's a person who has what? Who has wisdom. And what he is doing, he does everything for a reason. But you don't understand something that the person does one day, right? The method that they may use one day. But you give them on a human level, you give them the benefit of the doubt. Ibn al-Qayyim, he said in his book about the qadr of Allah, he said, why don't the creation deal with Allah like that? When there's something that Allah has ordered them to do and they don't understand the full wisdom of it, or Allah has forbidden them from and they don't understand why it is harmful to them and why they should leave it off, why don't they give Allah the benefit of the doubt? When Allah tests them with something in their life, and they don't understand why they're going through what they're going through, why don't they give Allah the benefit of the doubt? وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. The highest similitude belongs to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. This is an argument that can be used with the disbelievers, and concerning the attributes of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, the perfection of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because the disbelievers are in the habit of limiting the Creator and what He can and cannot know. Can He know things before they occur? And does He have the power to do all things? What does He have the power to do? What doesn't He have the power to do? What is the wisdom behind the Creator? Why does certain bad things happen? And so on and so forth. And so you can use these examples that I found on a human level to say, if you was to give a human being the benefit of the doubt, then why don't you give the benefit of the doubt to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And you see that the religion, it calls to goodness, it calls to righteousness, it calls to mercy, so on and so forth. And then you see something in Islam that you say, well, that doesn't seem very merciful. Now, why would you do that? Why would they cut off the hand of the thief? Why would they flog the adulterer, or flog the fornicator, stone the adulterer, so on and so forth? I thought your religion was merciful. That's a contradiction. It's not a contradiction. And it's a mercy. It's a mercy. The Prophet ﷺ said that the establishment of a single punishment, meaning by the Muslim ruler in the lands of Islam, the establishment of a punishment from the punishments of Allah is better for the earth than 40 nights of rainfall. It's better for the earth than 40 nights of rainfall. But now you live in a society where they have, how many people in prison? 2 million people? How many people in prison in America? I think 2.3 million people in prison in America. A quarter of all inmates are inside of the United States of America. Right? A big business. $270 billion business a year, something like that, the prison industry. Right? Life in Islamic society, when you see, okay, well, the guy that commits crimes and atrocities, so on and so forth, he's dealt with in this way. Right? He's executed, he's put to death publicly. Right? He's executed, put to death publicly by the legal Muslim authority in the lands of Islam for his crimes. The person who was the drug trafficker, the person who was a rapist, the person who, to the end of it, the child molester, so on and so forth. Right? He goes through the judicial process in the lands of Islam through the due process that has been laid out by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then he is punished publicly. He is punished publicly if he is found guilty of his crimes, so on and so forth. The person who sees that is what? Rada'an. And it discourages them. It discourages them from ever doing something of the sort. From ever doing something of the sort. I'm just going to read through some of these things very quickly because it's late. As-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, likewise from the logical evidences for the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the uniqueness of Allah and His perfection, it's just as He has ordered us to look at the greatness of the creation and how that is the evidence for the Creator, and He more intimately than looking at the creation around us is looking at our own selves. Looking at our own selves. Isn't it astonishing how the disbelievers, the more they find out about science, the more they find out about DNA, the more they find out about these sorts of things, the more they increase in disbelief. Instead of increasing in admiration for the Creator, for the one who designed and organized the human being in the fashion that He has organized, so on and so forth, they increase in disbelief. And the person, he looks at how he is built, how he is made. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala in his book Miftah Dar al-Sa'ada has tremendous speech about this. He talks about the curvature of the bones and how if the bones were straight, not only would you walk very awkward, you would be funny looking and you would be in a lot of pain. Right? The curvature of the bones, and they contribute to many different, there are many clear wisdoms of Allah Ta'ala in every segment of the creation of the person. A person doesn't know the intricate nature of how he has been assembled until something goes wrong in him. Something goes wrong to him, and he goes to all of the mutakhassisin. He's all the specialists, right? 5-6 years in front of the specialist, right? These people went to school forever, and you go in front of them, and they run this test and that test and this test and that test, and they still don't know what is wrong with you. Right? There's something that is hidden. They don't know what's wrong with you. Or they find out what's wrong with him, and they explain how this thing contributed to that thing, which led to this thing, which led to that thing. And you don't even know what the functions of your organs are. You don't even know what's going on inside of you. You don't think about it. You don't think about these tremendous favors from Allah at all moments. of the intricate